Hold on.
Being a hero in the 23rd century is challenging. You have to be good with guns, drive flying cars, battle vicious aliens, fly spaceships, and through it all, keep a good sense of humor.
Are you classified as human?
Negative. I am a meat popsicle.
For Bruce Willis, this was a challenge worth facing.
Anybody else want to negotiate?
People in the media try to identify me and say, well, he's this kind of actor, or he's a superstar, or whatever label they want to put on me. I'm still learning how to act, and still I learn things about acting from every film that I do, and so it would be very, very easy for me, and also very boring for me to just do action movies all the time, and it would. I am tired of it. So I try to find other things to challenge myself with, and I like to do films that I'm not quite sure whether I'm going to succeed in. So there's always that risk of failure.
But along with risks come rewards.
It is a blast. I mean, and it's one of the reasons that I still enjoy acting is because each time it's a new thing, and it's a new challenge, and you get to wear new clothes, and you get to walk in a different time and walk a different way, and that's a thing I think that keeps it interesting for me.
But new challenges were not by themselves enough to attract Bruce Willis to The Fifth Element.
It's my first criteria is working with someone who I think is a good storyteller, which really all good directors are, goes back to caveman days. In cave times, there was one guy who was the guy who said, today we killed this big mastodon, and here's how we did it, and he made it very exciting, and he was a good storyteller, and now today we call them directors.
And for the director of The Fifth Element, one of the major challenges would be how to portray the future.
It would be very easy to get lost in the 23rd century. One of the interesting things that I think Luke was able to do is to create a marriage between a visual style of the 23rd century and yet a very 20th century point of view of an attitude that has still carried through for 300 years, and that is life is still a drag a lot of times,
Bruce also discovered that on this film, the director would be operating the camera as well.
It's actually a much more immediate sense of an immediate style of acting. Most of the time, you've got to do a take, stop, turn the camera off, get out of in this case, the flying cab, go and talk to the guy and say, how was that? Is that what you wanted? And with Luke there, a lot of times we just kept the camera rolling, and I said, well, he says, good, do that, but now do this. And so it's a much more immediate sense of working in a much more organic way of trying new things.
By the end of The Fifth Element's shoot, Bruce had flexed his chops, not only in action, but also science fiction, drama, and comedy.
Woo! Baby!
Some films I do because I have some particular need to work out some acting problem or some acting thing. And sometimes I do films just because they seem like they'd be a lot of fun to do. And this film certainly was a lot of fun to do.
You're right. I shouldn't have done that. It was wrong to kiss you.
Imagine that you're 19 years old. Suddenly, you're cast in a major motion picture to play a divine being who speaks an entirely unknown language.
Come on.
Uses martial arts to battle evil creatures. Saves the universe from total destruction. And shares a screen kiss with Bruce Willis. Wow, this is exactly what happened to Milla Jovovich. It all started in Los Angeles in 1994.
I was such a huge fan of Luke, and me and all my friends had gone to see La Femme Nikita, and so we would drive around late at night, like screaming "La Femme Nikita," out the car window to people and stuff, and it was like our movie. So when my agent called me and said that Luke is auditioning people for a new film, I was like, oh, I have to go, and I have to meet him. And so I went, and I got all dressed up and dolled up, and I went there, and I thought I was going to impress him so much, and then he never called me back. And like 4 months passed, and then I bumped into him accidentally at the Chateau Marmont Hotel, and I had no makeup on. I hadn't prepared, and he saw me and was like, oh, actually, can you come back up, and I want to videotape you again.
And after finally getting her second chance, Milla still had to excel during a challenging and unusual audition.
We'd put on like some crappy MTV video and be like, okay, dance, but like you've never danced before. It's the first time you've danced, So it would be like, how do you react to things as if you've never seen them, like from an alien's point of view, or laugh without expression or something. So, he sat with me for like 2 hours going, ha, 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 doing just weird, crazy, just like if anybody would have seen through a peephole, they would have just thought we were like the craziest people in the world at that point. And we were.
Milla had impressed the director in her audition, but she now had to pass the next test.
Brought in for the screen test to London, and I remember being so nervous. And Luke met me for breakfast in the lobby of the hotel where we were, and it was just like, focus, and you're going to be great, and I just want you to not be scared, and I want you to not think about yourself. He says, just forget yourself. Let me handle everything. He took control of the situation. He's a very strong man, and he knows how to comfort people and make them feel comfortable. I think that's why he's such an incredible director, because he really puts people at their ease and reminds people of what makes them really great.
The screen test was also a chance to experiment with the visual elements of Lilu's character.
We had to find the look, obviously, and what looked right on camera. I guess the black eye makeup was an idea for something in the beginning, but it never panned out. So we were just trying to see me in different looks, different hair colors. Like he'd never filmed my face before, so it was more to see what lighting does on my face.
After the screen test was over, Milla didn't realize that the director and studio were deciding whether she would get this important role.
I was 19 at the time, so I wouldn't have known all of that background stuff. All I knew was Luke called me one day and said, "Are you ready to go?" And I was like, "Yes!" And that was it.
But landing the part was just the beginning of Milla's work.
8 months of rehearsal went into that movie, so it was quite a hectic schedule and lots of preparation to bring those characters to life.
What'd she say?
A unique aspect of that preparation was that Milla had to learn a new language invented by the director specifically for Lilu.
Luke was writing the script since he was 16, so this was really a baby dream project for him. And so he'd been writing this crazy language since he was a teenager. So when I came to England, he pretty much gave me a dictionary of like 800 words that I had to memorize. And we started writing each other like letters in this language. So whenever I would lack vocabulary, I would just ask him, "Oh, how do I say this?" And he would think about it, and the next day give me like a whole new set of words. So it was fun. We really communicated in this crazy language that he made up.
Boom, yeah. I understand boom.
Bada boom. The language was based on pretty much every language in the world kind of mixed together, and then some gibberish too, some Luke's own imagination, but he would mix like words that are already in languages and like, let's say, mix a Hawaiian word and an Indian word together and make a whole new word, but everything came from languages that are made already, so it had that realistic feel.
Besides the language, Milla also developed a unique physical quality for her character.
Physicality in general to that part was so important. The way she walks, the way she moves, her head, the way she looks at things, the way she picks something up. I mean, everything down to the tiniest details, because she's like this new creature that's never seen anything. So